Greetings everyone, and welcome to the presentation that'll cover week 2 for our summer Read 960 course. Okay, so the first thing that I want to go over is just in general what's going to happen this week. First we have class, and then in another slide I'll get into more detail about that. You're going to read chapters 4 and 5 of Teach Yourself How to Learn, chapter 1 of Opening Skinner's Box, and really work on refining that QQMS assignment. And then there's 3 assignments in learning this week. First there's connecting. You'll read an essay and do some reflective work with it. Next you'll do some note-taking it's a chapter from a psychology textbook that's used on campus. It covers operant conditioning. Chapter 1 of Opening Skinner's Box is about Skinner. And Skinner is the man behind operant conditioning, so you'll notice a theme in a lot of our readings this week. And then finally, Bloom's taxonomy and asking good questions. This will connect to chapters 4 and 5 of Teach Yourself How to Learn. And then there's a research assignment that is attached to that. So that's generally what's going to go on this week, but let me go into everything in more detail. Remember, it's always a good idea. This week opens Friday at 9, right before the week opens. So this week 2 is going to open on June 19th at 9 a.m. So it's important that you print this to-do list and get going on organizing your week and your time so that you can get everything done. If you look at the top, you'll see there's about 2 hours of class time and there's 9 hours of assignments this week. Okay, so next, before class on Monday, you have a couple things to do. The first thing you have to do is please read. You're going to print, if you can, this is a very short document that kind of summarizes Skinner and all of his research. And we're going to use that in class on Monday, so it's important that you've read it already. Secondly, I want you to Google B.F. Skinner. His name is Burris. I don't actually know what F stands for. Maybe you'll find out in your research. Look him up. We're going to talk about him a lot this week, so anything you can find out about his life or who he was or what he did, that would be really helpful. So I want you to Google him and then write down 5 things you learn about him to share with the class. Okay, and that's before our Zoom meeting on Monday at 9. Please do both of those things. Super short, shouldn't take you very long. Okay. So in class on Monday, the first thing that we're going to do is just check in. You will have finished your first week, so I want to know how everything went and what questions you have about D2L, navigation, or any assignment submission issues, or just in general how things are going. Then we're going to talk about Chapter 6 of Skinner's Box that you read last week about Harry Harlow. Then we're going to talk about chapters 1 through 3 of Teach Yourself How to Learn, which you also read in week 1. And then I'm going to go over everything for week 2, just kind of walk you through the week. If you've watched this video, it will be very helpful because then that part of the class won't take as long. Next, we're going to talk about Skinner. Here's where you'll use your Googling research, where you're going to tell me what you learned about him. And then I'm going to divide you into breakout groups, and you're going to work on a Bloom's taxonomy assignment. So it would be a really good idea to do some previewing on page 31 and 32 of Teach Yourself How to Learn. It would be helpful if you looked at that before class. I'll go over it, but again, the more you do before class, the more we can do in class, and the shorter that Zoom meeting will be. Finally, what we'll do in the Zoom meeting on Monday is a note-taking introduction. You're going to learn 2 different note-taking strategies this week. One is SQ3R, and the other is one called Annotation for Purpose. And so that is our plan for our 2 hours together on Monday. Make sure you're on time. Come early. Remember, try to arrive in our Zoom room 10 to 15 minutes early so you're there in time. You could even, review the operant conditioning handout when you get there. That way you're fresh and ready to go. You could also be previewing pages 31 and 32 while you're waiting for class to begin. Okay. Next is, again, you're going to read chapters 4 and 5 of Teach Yourself How to Learn. And again, you're going to first open the document. This is the directions on what I want you to do for your assignment. So you're going to read chapters 4 and 5, do the assignment, and turn it in. Next, you're going to read chapter 1 of Opening Skinner's Box. So there are 2 videos that you are going to watch first. Remember, always work down the folders. Everything is in the order that I want you to do them. So it's important that you look down through the folders. Now, one thing you'll find in the video is that I do encourage you to actually go out of order. Funny that I just said go in order, work down the folders. And then I'm telling you, well, actually, you might want to go out of order a little bit this week and do your note-taking assignment. Because your note-taking assignment will teach you information and give you background knowledge on Skinner's operant conditioning, it might be a good idea to read that chapter before you go to the Skinner's Box chapter. Again, you're just pulling all that background knowledge in so that way chapter 1 feels much easier for you. It's just a suggestion, not a requirement. It's up to you. There are 2 videos, and the reason behind that is I had I was on the last slide of the PowerPoint, and I was recording the video on my tablet, and my tablet went to sleep. Like the screen went dark, and when it did that, the recording was cut off. And I was making my very last point. I think I was at like 28 minutes or something for the video. And so I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to add a really short, it's 4 minutes, super short video to wrap up everything. You will need to watch both videos because they lead you through your QQMS and reading of chapter 1. So you can start the video because I tell you during the video where to pause it and do your reading, where to pause it and do some of the writing. I lead you through the whole thing. So it'll be good to start the video, start them first, and then they'll kind of navigate you through the entire assignment. There are answers given throughout the video, so it's super important you listen to both and you listen to them all the way through. Your assignment, when you turn it in, will demonstrate that you listened to the video. I'll know. So if you tried to shortcut this, I'll know, and then you will receive 0 credit on your QQMS. It matters. Remember, we are not in class together, but for 2 hours a week. Normally in a summer class, I would have seen you 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. So if you think of it that way, there is so much class time that I am missing with you. And so because of that, the videos. So make sure you watch both videos, and then you're going to turn in your QQMS assignment after you read chapter 1. Okay, so next, you're going to get into the learning folder for this week, and here again is where we deliver some of the course content. So there's 3 sections in your learning folder this week. First, you've got connecting, then you've got note-taking. By the way, this is the assignment I recommended that you do before you read chapter 1 of Opening Skinner's Box. And then you'll do some work with Bloom's taxonomy. Now this connects specifically to chapters 4 and 5 of Teach Yourself How to Learn. However, you cannot do this until you've done Skinner's Box. So that one you can't do early. Okay, you are going to read an essay called Refugee Children, the Yang Warriors. It's by Kao Kalia Yang, and she is pictured here. She spent time in a refugee camp as a child, and this is a picture from the exact refugee camp that she was in, and it was in Thailand. So you are going to read her personal narrative essay. It's called The Yang Warriors. You can see that it's right here. Okay, you are then going to want to use these assignment directions in order to complete the assignment, and then you will submit it here in this assignment folder. Okay, next is the note-taking assignment. You can see in the learning folder, we are now in this second subfolder here, and this is on note-taking. Again, this is from that psychology textbook chapter on operant conditioning. It's actually from a psychology chapter on learning, and this is just one part of that chapter. So it's about 11 pages out of like a 40-page chapter that you will be reading, and you're going to be taking notes. There's 2 kinds of note-taking that I will describe to you in a voice thread. It's called this external learning tool you see here. That usually means we're going to voice thread. And remember, in voice thread that it is, I ask you questions and you actually record responses right in the presentation. You do get credit for completing it. I know if you do it because I go in and grade it and check that you've responded where I've asked you to. So it's super important that you do this voice thread, and then when you're done, you'll turn in your SQ3R and annotation for purpose assignment. You will turn them into this assignment folder. Okay. And then here, I love this. If you look at this after you learn about operant conditioning, that will make a lot more sense. Okay, then part 3, this is the last thing you'll do this week. This is learning part 3. We're down here in Bloom's taxonomy and asking good questions. Again, I already mentioned that this assignment requires you to have already done your QQMS for chapter 1 of opening Skinner's box, so it makes sense to do it last. So you are going to want to look at the assignment, which is here. Make sure you open it. I give you steps. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Right here is the file that I'm talking about. It's a color copy. It's kind of actually of this, but it gets into a little bit more detail. There's 2 pages to this document that'll lead you through Bloom's taxonomy. You should read it. And then once you've followed all of the steps in the assignment, then you will submit it here. There is a research component here. It is not that complicated. It's called a quest, but I go into it specifically in the assignment, tell you exactly what to do and what to turn in. So it's important, again, that you follow all of the steps in my assignment, use the document that I gave you, and then submit your file here. That's it for week 2. Please let me know if you have any questions during the week. I can't wait to see you on Monday in our class on Zoom, and I hope you have a wonderful week.